bunch of liars. They're all lying to me.
It would make sense and we'd be laughing at you. Yes.
How is it because
Don't laugh at me.
He's laughing at you, or are we all liars? I want to understand that.
I don't know. It's just all the same. It's all the same. I don't like these colors today. What's up?
That is not working for me.
Nothing's working. I'm not enjoying anything right now. Blah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know. Yeah, Mercury's out of retrograde, so you can't blame anything on it anymore. So stop it. Stop it. Wow, are you lagging? All right, I don't know what's going on. All right, everybody. Hi. Like, what are these things? What just happened? I don't want filters. What just happened?
Well, that'll fix it.
I am not a cat.
That's not good. What's going on? What just happened? Okay. I don't know what just happened. Sorry about that. I am not a cat. Exactly. I am a live person. All right. We're here. I'm feeling a little out of sorts, to be honest, and that's just what it is. So we're gonna go with it. We're gonna roll with it. My loving little daughter thinks that she needs me every night before bed. Not just like a little bit, like a lot of it. And she's throwing a fit that she can't have me right now. She's going to have to deal just like the rest of us.
I know. Oh, come on.
And Henrietta's the same way, apparently. All right. So what's up with this week? How's everybody doing? Making it through? Barely making it through? What do we got? This way? What? A little bit of everything. I don't know. My Zoomers, I cannot hear you tonight for some reason, so I'm just gonna...
You keep lagging.
Yeah, we're all lagging. It's a lag. I'll try to calm my energy down. Maybe things will work out. All right. So, last week, was that just Valentine's Day? That feels like 500 years ago. That was Valentine's Day. All right.
Super Bowl.
No, it wasn't. It was Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I thought you mean Sunday.
Okay, no, last week was Valentine's Day.
See, I told you I didn't know when to be
On Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
We're definitely having a party, but apparently none of us were invited to our own party.
Yeah.
That's okay. Last week we spoke all about love and connecting, and
last week was the garden.
We went to our sacred garden,
I
and
like your bangs, Renee.
we did a... Can you guys calm down now? We did a roomy theme, and now it's time to continue. So, we're going to pose a couple questions tonight, and the first one I want to discuss is, I guess because it's on my mind, but for the past month or so, I keep coming in contact with people that just don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work. They want somebody else to do the work, but they won't even go for counseling for that. So I'm a little frustrated, and maybe that's what it is, because they don't want to do the work, but they keep asking for me. So I don't I don't know what that's about. So we have to talk about this. There's a couple in particular that like came as clients, and they're experiencing, they have low-grade anxiety, or maybe even more moderate, sometimes severe anxiety, and they're struggling with that and dealing with that, so to speak, but maybe more self-medicating. Some are pot users, and it's nothing against that, but it sounds like they're really using it as a crutch instead of as how it's supposed to be used to moderate things, and not all the time. That's my opinion, because I've seen that it just doesn't work to have it all the time. Because it's just a Band-Aid, right? We have a lot of Band-Aids in our life. It can be food, it can be real drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be whatever, but the point is, if we're always constantly going to that thing or multiple things, and it's still not really working, we're still not feeling good or happy or healthy, then something is not okay, right? So this one that I was speaking at first, really smart guy, comes in. He's very open spiritually, I could feel it, but kind of reluctant to do the work. Then I went to my doctor. My doctor spilled his beans out, won't go for counseling, very against counseling. Two other clients, oh no, I can't go to counseling, I can't. But everybody's telling me all their stuff, which I have no problem helping you with your stuff. However, what is the work to be done? So my people on Zoom, even though I cannot hear you properly, if you'd like to type something, that'd be great. But tell me an example of what you think when I say the work. What does that mean? What's the work? And Renee, your hair does look super cute. So type in what do you think I mean when I say they don't want to do the work? So curious what people think when I say this. Type it in. I want to know. Renee says self-care. Yeah, and that's like a big general thing. I will take it as a good response. Thank you very much. What else is the work? I'm going to be very quiet while I wait patiently. So patiently live. Good. Following through with homework tasks, taking responsibilities for certain behaviors, analyzing yourself, learning communication paths. These are amazing. You could tell this is like my community. They know. This is homework, right? This is homework. When we talk about homework, I don't just mean like, you know, write in your journal. I mean like you gotta continue. You have to ask for more. You have to do more. And there's reasons for this because has anybody successfully, let's see, how do I say this? How about this? We know what it's like that we like to be alone to discharge, right? And if you know what I'm talking about discharge-wise, I mean like you finish off with a tough interaction or, hey, Jeannie, or you're just having a tough time, you're kind of overloaded, and discharge really means like alone time is necessary, right? And it's time to go outside. We all know these things, right? But have you ever done an extensive time of processing emotions alone successfully? I don't know if that's the right question, but I'm going to get to the right question. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever, like, you're already filled up with everything, and I don't know, you're having a hard time with life, so to speak, and isn't it nice to at least have one person to like lean on, right? Like that one, at least one person to go to and just spill your guts out to, and know that they are going to either listen if that's what you need, or they're going to help you out with it. So this is just what I'm asking, because I'm noticing more and more that the people I'm coming in contact with, they're not successful in their counsel and their discharge for themselves, but they're still very confused about what to do. Now, I'm preaching to the choir on my right. My Zoom people, they already know this, right? You guys already know this. Somebody dies in your life. Do you go crawl up in a hole by yourself, and is that successful? Or do you have to, like, you know, sometimes reach out and ask, you know, people for some support? We can do a lot on our own, but it's a lot more energy. Maybe that's what I'm trying to get at. It's a lot more energy. And eventually, you will start to feel very depleted and just down. So, what else did Carrie write? Working to develop a self-reflective capacity. That's the biggest thing. And when we're talking about meditation, you know, every Sunday I'm here for you, really to help you cultivate this reflective property and this bearing witness. That's what non-judgmental means, right? We're bearing witness to ourselves, to our surroundings, and then hopefully working to create what we actually want. Now, how could you possibly know what you want if you don't know what you don't want? We know this doesn't feel good, so we want something else, right? But if we don't know what doesn't feel good, then we have no idea what's going on. So we have to keep going back to that self-reflective capacity, absolutely. There was another thing that came up in sessions today. It was about change. You know, and maybe now it's different. Guys on Zoom, are you comfortable with change now? And when I say comfortable, can you acknowledge it? Maybe take a couple of days and then go, okay, this has to happen. I'm going to change. Things need to change. We got so sometimes. Yeah.
I'm better than I used to be.
You're better than you used to be. Because why? Because you've been doing what? The homework. The work, right? We're doing the work. The reason people are so uncomfortable with change is because they're fear of the unknown. They don't know what's going to happen, necessarily what it's going to look like. Just really the fear of being uncomfortable, possibly. That's too much. However, what happens when you resist change? Anybody know? You do know. You know. When you resist change, you are so much more uncomfortable. So much more uncomfortable. You could actually be in pain because of it. Your body will start telling you, hi, I was with you when you kept resisting, and now you have headaches, and now you have stomach aches, and now you have a hip problem. Like, your body, because, don't forget, your body's purpose is currently housing your soul, which your soul isn't really living here, it's actually up there or whatever, but it's making you mobile in this earth. It's making you, you're human right now. That's what's going on, guys, right? But if you're not taking care of your mind, that means you're not taking care of your body. So your body has been telling you, I knew you needed to change, so now this hurts and now you have to take care of it. And then I'm going to possibly make you have a headache, so you have to lie in bed because you haven't been listening to me how tired I am. I'm going to call you out on this, so now you're going to hurt your foot, so now you actually have to stop moving. There's a lot that your body does to get your attention. So let's talk about not resisting. What does it feel like when you wake up in the morning and say to yourself, you know what, today I would like it to go this way. And it doesn't go that way, so to speak. Something happens with the car, something happens with this. If you can process it quickly, maybe laugh it off, call a friend and scream, whatever you need to do, the day can end up being like really, really great, right? Because you're not focusing on how much is not going right. You're focusing really on like, okay, that happened, I let it be, and now we're moving through. So that's just a small example of how the resistance is not doing it's not doing you a favor. So when we learn to flow through it and experience it fully, again, with this people not wanting to go to counseling or whatever, I keep hearing they're afraid it's going to make them be more angry. They're afraid it's going to make them more sad. Just a lot of fear, literally, about feeling. They're scared of feeling. So this kind of poses an interesting question, right? Like, if you're scared of actually feeling and experiencing anger or sadness, how are you ever really going to experience happiness? How's that possible? So if you're so consumed with actually not being a certain way, right? I don't want to feel that I might get more angry. It's going to bring up things. It's going to make me feel a certain way. Well, how are you actually going to get to what I would dream would be your end goal of peace and happiness, right? There's literally no way around this, because remember what I said, there's one volume button. So you turn it down on those emotions, the other ones don't have a chance. So how do you go into an emotion? You guys have any idea on how to go actually experience one purposefully? I know you do. How do you go into one? Or what happens when one shows up? Message me. Come on. People on Facebook, you could do it too. Yes, Carrie, I want your expertise. Go ahead. Write it all out. Right, well, this is where we hear all about psychosomatic stuff and like how the body is storing things. There's a reason for that. How do you go into it? Good, listening to music. So Mikey is right away talking about, well, if he experienced, oh, you mean purposely listening to something that might cause a reaction? Absolutely. I love that, Mikey. I do that a lot. If I want to discharge really fast after work, you know what? Well, Carrie and I do this too sometimes, but we'll pump it up to whatever music, right? To like make it nice and loud. But sometimes I'll also, like in my car, I'll put it to something so that I can experience the emotions really fast. So I might put it on something super, super sad. I might put it on like heavy metal so I can get like really riled up. And then as soon as that's done, like I can feel the change where I'm like, I don't need this anymore. And then I'm good. I'm out. We have Carrie says, acknowledge what the emotion is, label which one you think it is. Easier to feel an emotion that has a name. Yeah, it's confusing when we have big feelings inside and do not know which ones we are feeling. I love, I always talk about particularly my daughter because we worked a lot on emotional IDing early on, and just to hear her say things, it's really interesting because she'll say, sorry, my thing always wants to talk to me. She'll say, Mom, I'm feeling really overwhelmed because of all this stuff. And she can list it off. And I told her, I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, that, there's a lot of adults that can't do what you just did. And that is so true, because listening to my doctor, listening to these people, they literally can't say, all he could say was that I'm angry at God. I'm angry at God. And then I said, well, you really loved him. He's like, oh, I didn't love him. He was a guy. I'm like, no, you loved him. He was your brother. He was like a brother to you. You loved him. I was so sad for this man, because I was like, he can't actually own this emotion. How is he going to process it? What a beautiful thing to love somebody, right? When we have grief, it's because we love them so much. And you can do that even with a celebrity, in a sense, right? Because there's something invested in them. We see something, we feel something, and whatever, especially if they're acting, like we connect to that on some realm because it reminds us of something in our lives. But if it's a spouse, if it's a friend, whatever it is, that's why we grieve. We experience that because we love them so damn much. Why wouldn't you want to love somebody? Right? And why wouldn't you want to love yourself that same way? My gosh, you're so lovable. It seems to be a theme lately. My clients come in and like all this stuff comes up, and all I keep hearing them say is this self-defeatist attitude of, well, I don't deserve that. And they don't hear themselves. They don't necessarily say the exact words, but I can't do that. I don't deserve that. That's too much for me. That's too much time for me to take. Oh, I can't do that. And everything is it's so sad because why wouldn't you do that for yourself? Why wouldn't you want to carve out 15 minutes of time to, meditate or do yoga or, listen to a song that might make you feel moved to tears? A good cry, right? Women generally are not afraid of the good cry. There was a joke between my husband and I, because when we first met my family, like including my dad, we would cry. And he would sit there like this. What is happening? And then a few years into it, of course, he's like sitting with me and he's getting emotional, like, what happened? Did we break you? Or did we put you back together? Which one is it? But that truth, it's so solid, when you allow yourself to really experience what is coming up, right? What's coming up, it's a freedom because you're not fighting against it. You're not resisting. If you get overwhelmed and you feel like crying, okay, well, let yourself cry for a moment and see what happens. It will probably pass by, and then you'll be able to vocalize what you're experiencing. If you keep fighting, it's like a fight against the wrong way. Think of yourself like fighting against, the ocean's going this way and you want to go out that way. Well, isn't it easier to go when it's retreating, right? Isn't it easier to come back when it's going this way? So you have to think of your life that way. If God is giving you the option to be moved, well, then be moved. If God is showing you that my partner is not good for me, right? I'm staying too long. Well, are you hurting or are you happy? Okay. Are you hurting or are you happy? Is the other person willing to do anything? Is the other person, willing to go for counseling? Do you think it's worthy of counseling? And if it's not, then what do? You listen. You listen to yourself. You know these things. I know I'm going on a little bit of a rant tonight, guys, but I'm telling you, it's been building up inside of me for like over a month, listening to people. They want to complain. They want to feel like a victim. Why? Why do you want to feel like that? I don't think at the end of the day it makes you feel better, right? I mean, I'm not saying you can't have those moments. Of course you can. You're human. I'm human. I'll call somebody and be like, they did this to me. They did this to me. And then later on go, all right, well, now that I know what could possibly happen, and now that I know that I don't feel good from even talking about it anymore, how can we shift? How can we move on? And how can I take responsibility for sounding like a victim? It's not working out for me. So I got to move on. And then you shift. So this resistance to change, it just causes a lot of pain. And if you're not sure what to do with it, it can be really, really bad. And then you'll start feeling sick, really depressed, and all these things. So let's let go of that today. Because, like I said, I'm preaching to the choir on my right for sure, and definitely someone in front of me, where you know all these things. And I love you all for giving me the best answers ever, because it's all accurate. This is all the truth, right? So how can we move into what feels good? What feels yummy, gushy, lovey-dovey all the time? What do we like? So we have the self-reflection piece, right? We understand I didn't like the way that felt. That feels good. We know those things. So I'm going to ask you real quickly, list 3 things, type it out for me, that make you feel just generally like, I love this. I love this. This makes me feel really good, what I do during the day. I know Renee's going to say, Henrietta. So, but whatever. I just want to know what's in your toolbox working for you this week. How's that? Just for this week. What's working for you this week? 3 things. Because the toolbox has to be so vast that when you experience different situations and you go to explore your toolbox again on how to fix yourself, how to help yourself, and all those things, sometimes they don't work, right? I bet you could raise your hand right now. This week, my go-tos did not work. Sometimes they don't. What were my go-tos this week? Well, I finished my 21 days of Akashic readings for myself. Morning yoga time. Thanks, Jeannie. And then I transitioned into doing yoga at night, but I'm realizing that I'm actually missing reading for myself because it felt like a direct connection. And then with the yoga, I'm kind of more like stretching, try to get into my body, not really necessarily meditating with it. So I'm seeing that I need to make an adjustment for sure. Yeah. Kristen's saying meditation normally, but it was a Band-Aid this week. That's interesting. It was a Band-Aid. Nay, yeah, Henrietta. Cooking something really yummy and kickboxing. Eating vegetables, Mikey says, yoga and naps. Talking with friends, cooking and golfing. Cooking, huh, Carrie?
I cooked like 5 things this week.
I loved it. That's great. Yeah, and not normally in your tool bag necessarily, your toolkit.
No, didn't know.
Awesome. That's even better. Yoga and added Pilates, yeah. So, and being with friends, yeah, Jeannie, and this is a tough time for that too, so I'm glad you have work for that, right? So you need to know your toolbox. I keep saying toolbox, toolkit, whatever. It has to be so vast that when your go-tos aren't working, you can switch gears. But don't forget, you have a community here, and you can message me and then I'll bring it to anybody else if I need more help. But you have to go to those tools, because otherwise we're on a stranded island and it's not working out for any of us. And please don't forget that COVID is more than you think. There's an added layer of stress that people are just kind of ignoring at this point, but it's a real thing. So not just worrying about family, but worrying about what is so-and-so's point of view. So can we hang out outside, or are they going to want to come inside? Do they want to wear a mask? Are they not wearing a mask? Do they want to go in the same car? Like all these little things that you think are like whatever at this point, it's bigger than you think. It's just an added stressor that is going to take up a lot of space in your brain if you let it. So breathe into that, because there is nobody that is not having some of that at least. The last thing I want to say, what are you saying? I'm still trying to drink a half a gallon a day, Kristen. Oh, of water? Good. Great. So how I was saying that there's a call to connect, right? Tell me who has anxiety, or who, I shouldn't say has, who experiences anxiety? What do you think? Yeah, everyone's raising their hands. Yeah, okay. So my anxious friends, I don't like saying that either. People with anxiety. There are definitely levels of it, right? We know this. And sometimes it's really manageable, and sometimes it's really not. So as I was describing to somebody today, Jeannie's laughing. Exactly. I realized a long time ago, and I don't know if I've ever voiced it like this, but anxiety is a call to connect. I'm going to repeat that again, and I want you to remember it. Anxiety is a call to connect. Part of our system is telling us that something is not settled, something is off, right? Sometimes it's more personal within our family, and sometimes it's way out there. You've heard me talk about how I've experienced things right before hearing about world events. But that's really what it is. So you have this internal alarm system that's going on, and it's very, very acute. And the more you meditate, and the more you do things that are seemingly grounding you, right? Because they are grounding you. But that little alarm system right now, especially during COVID, is very accurate. And it's really like this, like little antennas are spiking up off your head and off your body and going, ooh, I can feel everything. Remember? One volume button. So because of that, there's no way to just go, oh, I'm only going to feel the good things. No, you're going to feel a lot of stuff. So that little alarm system is called anxiety. So let's label it like that. And then we're going to use it as a call to connect. So I start to feel things moving up, especially like as I'm talking and I have a lot of energy tonight. I'm processing my treatments today. I had like 3 over 2 hour sessions each, right in a row. And I can feel everything kind of like wanting to come out. It's wanting to settle, but it's all in my tummy right now. And it feels like what some people would call butterflies. It's actually just ungrounded energy, ungrounded chi. Right? Renee's going, uh-huh. So as I go into the meditation, I'll start to ground it. My voice will naturally slow down. My breath will slow down. But right now, I'm going to utilize that type of anxiety. It's a call to connect. So I'm going to focus now on listening. So as I slow things down and we get ready for meditation, you guys can start to close down with the lights and everything. I think about what's my intention. Right? This goes into the daily aspects of our days. You wake up, you know what you need to do, you know what your chore list is, your task list, and what's the overall effect that you want to feel, right? It's more than feeling accomplished. Still want to be smiling, still want to be laughing. So if I get that little anxiety thing going on, I'm getting that call to connect, my little alarm system is happening. So I'm going to pause. And I'm going to slow things down for a few minutes. And even if you're amongst people, you can focus on doing this. Like I say, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So even if I just close my eyes for a few seconds and focus on drawing energy down to my feet like roots, I'll start to feel this settling sensation. Settling sensation, and then slowly my eyes, my breath, even my saliva, everything starts to change. It regulates. The feeling in my belly is absolutely gone at the moment. I've settled my alarm system, telling it that I'm completely safe, but also that I'm listening. So people may wonder sometimes where I get ideas for meditations or for talks, or how psychic stuff comes through. And it's all this. It's all the listening. So this is how I channel. And then very slowly you can feel the body start to get a bit warm as the chi, the prana, the energy flows through. And we're just going to use no music today, just silence. Just simply listening to my voice and the breath in between. If you're here with us and you're looking for answers, even simple answers, what do I do next? What's coming up for me? What can I do to improve my day and ultimately my future, right? If you're here, this is part of the work. The work of taking action in your life. The work of listening to yourself and to your guides. And they're really always there. Always. And if you don't feel them or you don't hear them, you take time. It doesn't have to be hours a day. It doesn't even have to be 20 minutes in a row. It's the practice of it. And then soon you'll have them right where you need them, where you can access them with audio or visual or feeling. So tonight we're going to go on a bit of a quest. So in your mind's eye, I see a satchel next to you. And you're going to pack only the necessities. And I want you to think real quick, what are the necessities? Something that's going to fit in this brown satchel that you need to carry. So make sure that it's not too heavy and it's just enough. So as you're wrapping that up, we'll add something warm to bring, but you're going to wear it. Okay? And notice I didn't tell you where we're going, so you just have to trust. So tonight, we're going to start in the desert. Oh, I would have packed differently. No, no, no. You have everything you need. Now, first steps are going to be too hot on the feet. And then you're going to stay with it, walking very slowly and carefully, understanding that, remember, you're in your mind, you're completely safe. The elements are all in your control, in a sense. And I want you only to focus on the sand. Notice how when you step on sand, if you kind of struggle against it, if you go too fast, the sand will basically act a little bit like quicksand. You'll sink deeper in, and then you'll glide a little bit backwards. So let go of that struggle. That's the first one. Now you don't know where you're going yet, right? So all you need to focus on is walking mindfully. I also didn't tell you whether or not you have shoes on. So check out your feet.